Hello, and welcome back to another Dokkan battle video. So, now that we have had more than enough time to kind of see and feel how super EZAs are going to be implemented into the game, with the most recent addition being Physical Kid Buu, who's been in the game for a couple days now, and I think he has integrated himself well. He is quite good. And then also, if we take into consideration Tech Super Saiyan 3 and AGL Dragon Fist, right? All three of those characters were heavily just immediately revived and made so much better than even they were when they initially EZA'd back in the day. And that made me start to think about some stuff. And I know I've been talking about this a lot, especially in both videos I made about Super EZA Kid Buu, about what the future of Super EZAs could really entail for us. If we head on over to the Extreme Z Battle page here on the Dokkan info site, it lists them all pretty much in order in which they were released. And I think this is very important because if you remember back to when they told us that Super EZAs were going to be coming out, they said they were going to do it sequentially. And as we've seen, they're kind of going not really in order, but they're going with whoever best matches the celebration. And so far, the farthest along in the EZAs we've been is actually Tech Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, who is way down here. And also keep in mind that they did say the only characters that are currently in line for Super EZAs are Dokkan Fests and LRs. So we can immediately eliminate a few EZAs here. This Namek Saga one, this is a Raid, the Wrath Broly, Piccolo, and the Family Kamehameha characters. We can just toss those out of here, as well as this other GT Raid and then the GT Juniors. Those guys are definitely not going to be getting a Super EZA unless they change how they want to define Super EZA characters. Going from then, I'm really interested to see what a lot of these characters could potentially look like, especially if we consider how much different the current Super EZA characters are from when they initially released. A lot of them followed the same kind of play style, but just upped it to like the absolute maximum and made it so that their actual buffs and stats were significantly better than what they were from before. Now, I do think that everything up to Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks is going to be a potential Super EZA in the next coming months. Again, remember, we do have a new Dokkan Fest coming out in a little over a week from now, so we should be able to kind of figure out who's going to be coming next in the Super EZA lineup. But I really just wanted to take a look at the potential Super EZAs in order to see kind of what celebrations we might be looking forward to, as well as what kind of characters we might be able to use sooner in the future, right? Starting up first on the bat is actually STR Broly. I believe he is actually the first Dokkan Fest. It's like him and Super Saiyan 3 Goku, right? They were pretty much the initial Dokkan Fests of the game. Wait, let's just go ahead and take a look at his EZA. Not a really good one. It dropped in 2017, right? And there's not really a whole lot to go off of here. But we would know that if we were to get a Super Saiyan Broly Super EZA, that it would have to revolve around some kind of celebration, either movie bosses or some kind of Broly-themed celebration, right? So going off of that, what could that potentially mean for us? It means we're either going to be getting soon like one of the 3 OG Broly movies as a celebration, or this guy might just fall into a random movie celebration in general. Remember that also that Tech LR Broly still has not EZA'd yet, so there is potential here for a massive like first and second Broly movie celebration, which could be really cool depending on how well they handle not only this guy's Super EZA but also the Tech one's like regular EZA, right? Looking at him though, we know that his super attack effect will not change, so he will still be causes supreme damage to all enemies and raises attack for 3 turns, but this is where his passive is literally just raise like attack and defense when attacking. There is no real telling what this guy's going to do, except if we take a look at the other Super EZA characters, right? Gotenks, right? His whole gimmick was get to 11 key and he becomes stronger. What they do, they made it so that at 11 key he becomes literal Jesus, and if you manage to get 11 key and then push over into 12 key after you already like finish collecting orbs, he becomes Super Jesus, right? Kid Buu, he was just a support with an HP restriction before. Now, he is the support with a much lighter HP condition. So I I'm like really thinking about this. They also tend to give them like 1,000% multiplicative stats, which eventually it'll calc into that probably. So I would definitely say the easiest assumption to make here is that since he is technically geared around fighting multiple enemies, that when he does get a super EZA, his stats would just get a massive buff in his passive, and he would probably get guaranteed crits and potentially even guaranteed additional super attacks when fighting multiple enemies. I don't really see this guy being too crazy unless they give him like damage reduction and stuff like that. It's just because when it comes to characters who want to fight multiple enemies, it's kind of hard for them to be good when a lot of the content that we're getting nowadays does not have multiple enemies. So I could easily see this guy making it so that he's like an offensive powerhouse against multiple enemies, but if you're against one like enemy, that he becomes tankier. I could easily see that happening. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I just hope they don't do the typical Broly thing and make him a glass cannon. That would just be like the worst thing possible, but he's interesting. I just don't see him having too much potential going forward. Next up is actually Full Power Frieza. Now this one I think is one of the more important ones to get. If we were to have super EZAs during the AGL First Form Frieza Dokkan Fest, I think this guy would have already super EZA'd. But since he has not, he is probably not going to super EZA for a little bit unless we get another like Namek Saga themed celebration. We have gotten a couple pseudo Namek buffs. We know we got a Ginyu earlier in the year. I don't remember if AGL Frieza is on Planet Namek Saga. I don't know if he is or not. But we have kind of gotten very few Planet Namek buffs recently, so I could easily see us getting a new Planet Namek celebration. This guy's super attack effect is still kind of good here. Giving him defense for 3 turns is good. His passive, though, attack when super attacking, key and defense as the first attacker in the turn. If I were personally to design a super EZA for him, I would make it so that since he already kind of wants to be in slot 1, and since we have the AGL one that would link up really well with this guy who wants to be kind of in slot 2 to super attack first, I would make this guy a defensive juggernaut in slot 1, where he's able to get multiple additional super attacks from his passive. That way he can build up his defensive stacking here, as well as making it so that he is like either guarding or has damage reduction, like high levels of defense in slot 1. And then once he actually super attacks, that is when like the massive explosion of attack comes in. I think that would be a good way to balance this guy and make it so that he helps out the characters that are already existing in the game, mainly AGL First Form Frieza. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper, by the way, if you really want to know why I keep pausing. It's the trick of the gods. But anyway, yeah, I think the ideal way to make this guy, make him entirely tanky in slot 1 and potentially even make him support the rest of the rotation after he super attacks. I think that'd be a good way to balance him out and make him a bit more useful. Kind of like what they did with the Topo Pride Troopers, but a little bit less restrictive because he's a free sub, right? So I don't know what kind of celebration they would throw him into, but I do think that he could definitely be quite good depending on how they decide to build him. Next up is one that I'm really excited for, Tech Cell. Now, Tech Cell, I don't really see getting his Super EZA anytime soon, because it doesn't really look like we're going to be heading into any kind of Cell Saga celebration. We already did have one earlier this year. Again, I think he might have Super EZA'd if we had that mechanic in the game by then. Though I don't know if he would really fit the Sand Day celebration. I just think it would have been fitting to have Cell with Big Bang Attack Vegeta. It's just Cell Saga stuff, right? But Cell is a nuker. And if we've seen anything from how they've designed recent nuke characters, I think my favorite one is the LR Evoken EZA, and how they just get, guaranteed crits. They're popping off. They get so much ki. They're doing multiple 20 million super attacks. I think this guy, considering the fact that he does not have like a very good super attack effect at all, it just heals himself, that he could have a disgusting passive. He already gets 15% attack and evens per key sphere obtained and 1 key per rainbow. If you made it so that every single time he gets a rainbow key sphere that he got like damage reduction or an additional super attack or something like that, and like made it so that, if you get a certain amount of orbs, he gets guaranteed crit, and if you did this and that and the third, he just becomes literal god. I do think that they do need to make it so that this guy is also a rainbow orb changer himself. he does have access to a new like cell character to run next to him in the EZA Cell Juniors. Those guys are legitimately good. And if this guy did Super EZA, that rotation would be actually disgusting. Because the AGL Cell Juniors are really, really strong while buffing cells for like 50% or 60% or something crazy. So this guy could be, I think, easily the most fun Super EZA in the game. I could see him just popping out like multiple 20 million attack stats, guaranteed crits, while healing you for 10% HP every single time he supers. I think it could be really cool. I'm really excited to see what they do for him. I just don't know kind of celebration that would put him into. We would either need a new Super Saiyan 2 Gohan or a new Cell. So I don't know. It's kind of weird, but you never know when we could see Perfect Cell coming out. Next up is Super EZA Ultimate Gohan. Now, I did think that in this celebration, depending on what Part 2 LR we would have gotten, that it was either going to be this guy or Physical Kid Buu that would Super EZA. Obviously, Physical Kid Buu was the one that got picked because we had a Part 2 LR Ultimate Gohan. So I'm not sure when we're ever going to be able to revisit the like Majin Buu Saga Ultimate Gohan-esque era, as we literally just got a new Ultimate Gohan. So I have no idea when they might plan on bringing this guy to us. However, his super attack effect does stack attack. He gets all this stuff when his key is 7 or more, so he gets the super attack early if he hits 7 key. It's just like this guy, when he EZA'd, he was kind of mediocre, and I have a feeling that he's just going to be a link battery for Tech Ultimate Gohan, so that if you run double Tech Ultimate Gohan, you have 2 Ultimate Gohans to link with him and just have a super link battery. It seems like Ultimate Gohan characters kind of do get like the short end of the stick. They don't really do that to any other Gohans. It's just specifically Ultimate Gohan that they don't really give as much love to. Though personally, I would like to see this guy definitely be good, especially if he is the more free-to-play friendly option as a linking partner for Tech Ultimate Gohan as compared to the premium LR that literally just dropped. I think I would like to see this guy EZA soon. Maybe not like so far in the future to the point where Tech Ultimate Gohan falls off, but close enough to the point where they can actually be ran together and it can actually be like maybe a solid little rotation. I could see it being pretty cool. I have no idea what they would do with him, though. My best bet would be like, I don't know, maybe you could definitely give him a support ability. You can give him a lot of stuff. I don't know. Just anything at all that makes Tech Ultimate Gohan better, I guess. Moving on now. Tech Beerus. Now, if we know anything from physical Beerus, we know that characters that are like him, where he gets start of turn stats, and then when he gets hit, he gets a lot of attack. Characters that are like this end up being kind of stupid, right? With their multiplicative buffs. I think easily we could see this guy be just better physical Beerus. I don't see why they couldn't just like implant physical Beerus's kit into this guy, but make him better. Also, do keep in mind for a lot of these characters that they have like the massive like 7,000 hidden potential system stats. So their stats are just in general a lot like larger than most of the newer EZA characters. So when they get these massive buffs that are multiplicative in their passive, that's what makes them shoot up to like 20, 15 like million attack stats. That's what really does it, is their hidden potential system down here. This guy's attack is really large for a character that came out in 2018. So I do think easily we could see this guy just absolutely pop off. I'm really hoping, again, that they just make him physical Beerus 2, give him guard, make it so that when that he's tankier before he gets hit. That way he doesn't just explode when he wants to get hit. And then if he does get hit, he just becomes Jesus mode and starts one-shotting, like turbo critting everything. Especially because, again, he has a pretty lackluster super attack effect. He does have this rage mode, right, which I literally have never seen in game. I don't know if anyone has ever seen this actually activate. I was playing when this guy dropped. I never saw this happen. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but him being, he just rages when he's under 40% HP sometimes, right? It's not very common, but like rage modes and giant forms have proven to be quite useful. So I could easily see this guy having use, especially on a lot of teams that he's on. And he's on movie bosses, he's on Realm of Gods, he's on like these weird teams like Exploding Rage, Legendary Existence, Planetary Destruction, Worthy Rivals, right? He has a place. It's just we need to see him be able to do his job without getting literally eliminated from this mortal plane, I guess. Moving on to what is more than likely going to be the best Super EZA character of all time, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. If you know anything about playing this game, up until I would say the 7th anniversary, like even a little bit after the 7th anniversary, this guy, who, remember, he EZA'd in 2018, right? I was there when he EZA'd. He was useful up until the 7th anniversary. That was 2 years ago, 2022. This guy was good for 4 years, purely on the fact that he has 80% damage reduction for 10 turns. I highly doubt they do anything to this, right? The only thing I could see them changing is making it so that he actually has defense in his passive, because that's what aged him out. He doesn't have any defense in here. So whenever the damage got so high, where 80% of the damage he would have taken is still gonna kill him, that's when he kind of faded out. But if they bring this guy back, I could easily see him having multiplicative buffs in his passive that makes it though he just is able to live everything. Those first 10 turns, he's literally like turbo insane. He cannot die. He's Beast Gohan for 10 turns, which is literally crazy. Like, again, Beast Gohan has this kind of damage reduction, but that's only for 5 turns. This guy has it for 10 turns as a easy AT war. I see no realm where they make this guy bad. They just need to give him decent defensive stats, and he's crazy. Like, y'all know how good AGL Golden Frieza is. The only difference between this guy and AGL Golden Frieza is AGL Golden Frieza gets banned in a lot of events because he has a nuke-type leader skill. This guy doesn't. You'll be able to toss this guy in any event, and as long as you're able to beat the event before you run out of his damage reduction, he's going to be God. He is going to be so useful for so many people in beating some of these really, really, really hard events. Like, I can think of so many fights right now where this guy would be crazy if he had decent stats. Kid Buu, Buhan, Gogeta. You can blitz Gogeta so quickly, especially with the fact that I believe this guy, he's not on the team with Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku that just dropped. But I mean, if we got a Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 3 leader skill, mainly, I mean, he would be on there and he would be crazy. But I don't know when this guy would potentially EZA again. I think maybe November, when we were supposed to celebrate Heroes. Maybe they turn that into a crossover celebration instead of a Heroes anniversary celebration because Heroes is dead. But I think this guy is going to be like the free-to-play Beast Gohan for the majority of players. He's going to be so stupid when he EZAs. I am so excited for this guy as well. Him, Perfect Cell, and then technically this guy are like my most anticipated EZAs here. Now, same thing goes with STR Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, right? Super Tech Effect sucks. Stats needs to be upped by a lot. This is when they started giving them back to the 5,000 mark that we're used to today. The main draw for this character is the 80% damage reduction. I don't believe they're going to change that 80% number to anything. Again, I think the thing that they're going to change the most is giving him startup turn attack and defense, and then a multiplicative attack and defense when he super attacks. That is 100% going to happen. Though, what I would like for them to change is these HP thresholds, because he just gets walloped the second you drop below the 50%. And even back when he initially dropped, we had stages where if you fell below this 50% HP threshold, he would start taking a lot of damage. It happens. I need them to make sure that this threshold is significantly lower, because AGL Golden Frieza, which is the sub-EZA character of this guy, has 90% damage reduction unless you fall below 30% HP. This guy is just flat out worse. So I need them to make sure that, like, maybe even like gut this entirely, like remove this, maybe do something at all so that it's not as threatening if you fall anywhere near a low HP number. Now, do I know when we might see another Golden Frieza? No. I mean, we literally had an ROF celebration not too long ago. Like, actually, it was 2 years ago now. But I highly doubt we're going to see ROF anytime soon. I could easily see this guy being tossed into a random movie bosses or Terrifying Conqueror or even a Wicked Bloodline celebration. I mean, we just had a Wicked Bloodline celebration as well. So maybe like a movie boss celebration that would buff, I don't know, a movie, and then this guy comes out maybe. But I don't know. He needs to make it so that the thresholds are not as egregious and that he doesn't just get blasted the second he falls below a low HP threshold. I could easily see him being amazing, though. Make him just crazy. Just make them good. These two, it's really hard to screw up, right? It's very, very hard. Finally, the only one that is past the range, actually, technically the last two are past the range of Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, right? This is the reason why I extended it this far. I've been mentioning this over and over again. I see no reason that this guy does not Super EZA alongside the physical Rose Dokkan Fest that is still not out yet on JP. There is no reason that this guy cannot drop within that celebration. It would help massively in both the Super Bosses team as well as just Goku Black in general, because this guy is a Rainbow Orb changer to help physical Rose, who needs Rainbow Orbs, who does not create his own Rainbow Orbs until he transforms. This guy would help so much. They have Big Bad Bosses, they have Prepared for Battle, Dismal Future, Kamehameha, Nightmare. They have all these things, right? It would be literally perfect to just match them up next to each other. The only thing that I want for this guy is that they amend the differences between him on JP and him on Global. Because on Global, he has this. Extreme Class Allies Key +3. On JP, he does not have that. That is the only difference. I have no idea why they decided to do that. Like, he even had it, I believe, pre-EZA, right? Yeah, he had it pre-EZA. Extreme Class Key +3. You go to JP, he doesn't have it. I need them to fix that, because it would just make the Super Bosses team, which is filled with a bunch of different characters who really don't work too well together, just that much easier to run. Like, Broly is kind of key hungry. You really want to make sure he has his max key, so he's pumping out the turbo million damage. You'll link next to Rose, who needs rainbow key spheres, which this guy already makes, right? There's ways to make this guy really, really strong, and I'm just really hoping that they amend the past mistakes and make things right between him and on JP and him on Global. I think it'd be really good. The only issue is that it's gonna kind of suck, because I don't know when Global would get his Super EZA, considering they've already had the Rose celebration, and it's not gonna be a second Rose celebration on Global. So I don't know when he's gonna come out, if he does Super EZA for JP during the Rose celebration on Global, but we'll just have to see where they toss him at. Maybe we have a different future celebration that they throw him at as for. But that is pretty much all of the Super EZA characters I wanted to talk about, just because I think that's like our pushing limit right now of all the ones that are in range of EZAing based on Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks and the celebrations that we already know are going to be happening this year. I don't think Gogeta and Janemba are going to EZA until like Anniversary, so don't count them unless we see like a massive celebration that is revolving around like Gogeta and fusions and stuff like that. Do not expect them to Super EZA anytime soon until like Anniversary time. So that's just my thoughts. Do let me know which out of all of these potential Super EZA characters you're the most excited to see happen. Again, I think me personally, it's going to be Texel. I think he can be really, really cool. Again, let me know which one you are most excited for in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.